Hi guys, I'm going to do a quick video here about removing the drive shaft or prop shaft on a Polaris RZR. This is going to be really similar for all the models, but specifically this is a RZR 900S. I had a lot of trouble getting the front roll pan out, and it went right there where that hole is. Obviously it's not lined up at the moment because I've pulled on the drive shaft and then I decided to make a video. But I was having trouble with it with standard punches, so I went and got a set of roll pin punchers. So these are just Craftsman here. They're about 20 bucks at Sears. And you're going to work with the 1/4 inch primarily. Focus. There we go. And the other one that you're going to want to use is the 5/16. So you punch that out. I found it easiest to take the front wheel and tire off and move the front shock and A-arm up out of the way so I could work. Obviously the brake caliper off of the rotor. So the next step is to remove the two 15mm bolts from the prop shaft support bearing. And then what I'm going to do is remove the front prop shaft off of the rear one. And I've drawn just with a wax pencil a line there to realign the yokes when I put it back together. Okay, so where you actually want to remove this thing, you want to take the prop shaft support bearing and slide it back a little bit. And then the rear prop shaft yoke will slide off of the splines of the rear prop shaft. This is the front prop shaft, so it should slide off of there. Yeah, you can see mine's off the splines now, so I actually need to slide this back and then pull it out the front. So once your drive shaft's out, what you're going to want to do is get a method together to get the U-joints out. And you can see I'm going to use a vise and a few sockets. So what I'm using is a 5/8 inch socket, and I think that one was a 32mm. Yep, 32. So essentially what we're going to do is push it this direction. So this one's smaller than the outer diameter of the U-joint cap, and what it's going to do is drive the whole U-joint into this one. So that's going to allow me to get that cap out, and then we'll flip it around and drive it back the other way. Of course, I'll flip the whole drive shaft to do that probably. But then you just repeat that for the other one, and you can see I've already got the star clips out of it. You're going to find those right in here. It's easy just to take some PB Blaster and spray it, and then use the screwdriver to get on the lip of it and hit it out with a hammer. And you may want to put a cloth over it because those things like to go flying. If you don't, if not, you may just not have them. But your U-joint should come with new star clips. You can see them in there. And I'll pick it back up in just a second. Okay, so it took me a minute. And honestly, the hardest part about this is holding everything with one person to get it lined up. So if you get a second set of hands, it'll be a lot easier. You can see it pushed the U-joint into there. And once you get a lot of pressure on it, you can either take like another piece of pipe to put onto this for more leverage, or I just used a dead blow hammer and hit against the vise handle there, and eventually it'll pop it loose. Then you can take it out and take the cap off and push them back through the other way. So when you get to the point that you've got the caps ready to come off, I'm just going to take a pair of vice grips and work it like this until it comes off. And there you go. Now when you go to reinstall your U-joints, I didn't take the caps off of these, it was just to keep the grease clean in it. But I've got a cap on that end, and it's sticking out to about here. And I'm pushing in this one. So really all you got to do is just take your vise, push them in, and what you want to do is keep pushing it until so one thing I want to show you is the needle bearings in there, I guess is what they're called. But you'll see they line the outside of these caps, and that's what allows the cap to stay still and the U-joint to move as it needs to. So be careful with these. There should be grease in there to hold them in place, but just be careful that if you drop these caps, that you don't lose your needle bearings, or you're going to want to not put the cap in, and you'll want to get a new needle bearing or a new cap so you've got good needle bearings. Now when you go to put the rear drive shaft back in, you're going to notice I've already got the new Precision HB26 bearing. This is off Amazon. I've already got that installed. I've already got that rubber bushing installed. But I've got this little cinch strap here because I don't have a second pair of hands. So what I did, I strapped it in there just so it could support this end up, because these little tabs, yeah, sorry if you can't see that. But anyway, there's little tabs on the side that want to hit against the frame. So I'm holding them up with that. And then I just came back here after putting some anti-seize on the splines. Guided it right up on there. So that's a solution around not having a second set of hands if you don't have anybody available to help you. Okay, now back to the reassembly process here in the U-joint. If you have trouble getting it together, make sure that you're checking it out, because this drive shaft is keyed on the splines, and you just kind of see it right there, that open spline. There's one spot where it'll go on, and you'll have it's right there at the edge of my finger. That's where that key is going to go, or you're not going to be able to get this drive shaft on. So make sure you do that. Leave these bolts out of that so you can push the bushing back and get all into play with it.